You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Are you Mr. Dale Jarrett?
Yep.
Are you going to race the big brown truck?
No, I'm not driving the truck.
I'm going to hold my breath until you drive that big brown truck.
Fox tonight. Will an innocent trip to Sin City destroy Homer's marriage?
If I had known there were loose women in Las Vegas, I would never have let you go.
Find out on an all-new Simpsons.
All the things that come back and bite me in the... Ow!
Then, Malcolm's family takes dance lessons.
No way. You be a gentleman. It's just like touching a dead person. It's just like touching a dead person.
An all-new Malcolm. It all starts with an all-new Futurama and King of the Hill at 7/6 Central tonight. The creators of That 70s Show invite you to return to a different time, when love was a battlefield.
Punk rock rooster, 12 o'clock.
Ow, I'm so not going to the prom with you.
Material Girls ruled.
It's dynasty shots. Only do a shot when someone gets slapped.
And nothing succeeded like excess.
Welcome to Reagan's America. God bless you, Ronnie.
Get ready for That 80s Show.
No, it's not a payphone. It's a portable phone.
Wednesday, January 23rd on Fox.
Today's game, First and 10 Downline, is brought to you by Intel and the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world. Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to New Orleans. Ron Pitts down here with San Francisco 49er head coach Steve Mariucci. Coach, you said after the Dallas loss that you guys got to bring your A game or you face the consequences. Going into the playoffs, what would be the A game today to get a win against the Saints?
We've got to play better defense than we did. We've got to run the ball more effectively than we did against Dallas. We've got to play catch and keep from turning the ball over as we usually do. But we've just got to play a good, solid game.
Are you guys going to be more aggressive going down the field, passing the football?
Well, if the situation lends itself, but we always try to establish the ground game with Garrison Hurst. But we've got to try to win this game, see if we can get a home game in the playoffs, and it depends on a couple other games that are going on. But we want to take care of ourselves and concentrate on this game alone.
How hard will that be, speaking of that, not watching the scoreboard, not watching what Green Bay does, honestly, because that has a lot of effect on what you do?
My guess is Chicago will be in a dogfight, Green Bay will be in a dogfight, and this game is going to be a tough one, too.
Worry about your own dogfight here. All right, good luck, Steve.
Okay.
Pat, back up to you for kickoff.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. Vinny Sutherland returns the kicks for San Francisco. They won the toss.
And this is what it's all about here. If the 49ers win and Green Bay loses, the 49ers will host a playoff game next week. If Green Bay wins, then that game will be in Green Bay.
So the Saints will kick off to start the proceedings. John Carney, a bouncer. Sutherland fields on the hop at the 10. Up to the 30, and let's have a look at San Francisco's offense. Here's the offensive line. Ray Brown, the leader, headed for the Pro Bowl, and the rest of them, not great, but certainly more than functional. Those who touch the ball, Stokes and Terrell Owens. Garrison Hurst headed for the Pro Bowl, as is Owens. Jackson starts in place of Fred Beasley at fullback. Ty Streets, the third wide receiver.
Terry Jackson is one of those guys who's a tweener, half tailback, half fullback.
Garcia. And Terry Jackson gets the first touch. Let's look at the Saints defense. A good front four: Johnson, Glover, Chase, and Howard. Leroy Glover headed for the Pro Bowl. Darren Smith, Charlie Clemens, and Cedric Hyde, the linebackers. And the secondary, Thomas Bellamy Knight headed for the Pro Bowl, and Steve Israel.
And the Saints have their dime defense, and they call this, with 6 defensive backs.
3 wide receivers for the 49ers. Garcia gets straight ahead. Hurst.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Steve Mariucci was talking about last night. What he wants to do is try and, spread this defense out. He said they match up with us. In other words, when we go 3 wide receivers, they'll go dime, and then we get some running lanes in there. So every time they go 3 wide receivers, the 49ers I'm talking about, or 4 wide receivers, sometimes it'll be to spread the defense out so they can run the ball.
3rd and short.
Yeah, they got 3 receivers on this side. Go back to normal. I would expect this would be a running down.
I would expect. That's Hurst, who appeared to get the first down.
I think one thing that they have to do is they have to watch out that they don't just get in passing formations and run the ball all the time. You also have to get in those passing formations and throw the ball down the field. That's what we were talking about earlier. I think that, after Jeff Garcia hurt his ribs there, they were a little cautious, and now we talked to him yesterday. He's still wearing a rib pad, but he feels a lot better and feels he can make all the throws.
Back to throw is Garcia. Tight end Eric Johnson makes the catch.
And that's exactly what I was talking about right there. They've been throwing so many of those short passes, and here you see right here, they had them right on the right side. On that cover 2, they just hit that seam down there. They get Eric Johnson, the rookie tight end, working against the linebacker. He gets his separation, and the second that he gets that separation, Jeff Garcia puts the ball right there.
1st and 10, 49ers at the St. 35. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. They had a man open, but one of the linemen got a hand up and knocked it away. The key inactives for the Saints: Darrell Smith, Heath Mitchell, Fred Weary, Michael Hawthorne, Kevin Mathis, William Rope, Cameron Cleland, and Norman Hands. That's a pretty formidable group.
Well, that group right there is all on injured reserve.
Yeah.
Remember, Kevin Mathis hurt his neck last week, and that looked awfully bad. He left here without being able to move some of his parts, but went to the hospital, and he was okay.
The parts are moving now.
Yeah, and he was released from the hospital.
Talking about injuries, here is the 49er key inactive list. Matt Plummer, Fred Beasley with a broken hand. He played last week with that broken hand. Cheeky O'Keefer, broken leg. So this is that time of year when the injuries do start to mount up, unless you're very, very lucky.
I think they played Fred Beasley last week, and after they watched him play last week, decided they shouldn't have played him last week, so they're not playing him today to have him ready for next week.
3rd and 7, look out for Owens. Garcia's hit just as he let it go. The ball is on the ground. His arm, I believe, was going forward, but the officiating crew, the referee, Jeff Triplett, said no, his arm was not going forward. I think we'll get a
Charlie Clemens is going to come from his right side. I think the ball went out before his arm went forward. Watch Charlie Clemens hits it and knocks the ball down. I don't think that his arm was going forward. Here's Clemens. He's the middle linebacker on passing downs. He's a pass rusher, and he's a pretty good pass rusher. That time he just beat Scott Dragg.
No challenge.
I don't think that should be challenged. I think that
ball, Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams goes up the middle for 2.
Let's have a look at New Orleans offense. They have a lot of good players. Jerry Fontenot, the center, Chris Nailway, Kyle Turley on the right side. That's the strong side. Wally Williams and Darrell Terrell. Willie Jackson and Joe Horn, the wide receivers. Ricky Williams, the running back. Willie Williams starting at tight end. And that's he who made the catch. I don't know, as a player, having played in games like this, John, what's your attitude as a player? protect yourself?
I don't think so. I think anytime you ever do anything other than play as hard as you can, you're asking for trouble. I think that's when guys get hurt, and I think that's when bad things happen. Like I said earlier, there's only one way to play the game. I think you play it that way all the time.
This is one of those times when self-motivation very much comes into play. Here's the 49er defense. The front four: Carter, Stubblefield, Brian Young, and John Engelberger. Brian Young to the Pro Bowl. Ulbrich, Derek Smith, and Julian Peterson, the linebackers. Webster, Bronson, Schulters, and Rashad Holman in place of Plummer.
Saints offense 6th in the league. 49ers defense 19th.
Ducks under the sack, but he was down. Heat was put on by Stubblefield. Ducked under his arm.
Here's Dana Stubblefield right here. He'll be the first guy. Again, you see, he makes a move there on Wally Williams. Then he goes to the outside. Then he comes around to tackle. And just as Aaron Brooks looks out to his left, he just took a peek to his left, and he saw a big 94 right there. So he started to go down. Stubby clubs him in the head anyway. And then Bryant Young was right behind him.
A little stunt going on between Carter and Stubblefield.
Yeah, Carter went to the inside. Stubblefield took to the outside. Darryl Terrell didn't get him blocked.
Brooks, quarterback draw. He slips out of the middle congestion and down at about the 44.
At that time, they caught Andre Carter to the inside. They thought if he's going to go inside, we'll try and get outside. When you're 4th and 25 or 30, there's no play in your offensive playbook that is going to pick up that.
Toby going to punt to Vinny Sutherland. Signals fair catch, makes it. 49ers don't lose the battle of turnovers. Their defense does their job, and it's 0-0 with 8:39 left to play in the first quarter.
Fox NFL Sundays, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36.
It is a blustery, cold day outside in New Orleans. Jeff Garcia had some elbow damage repaired.
Yeah, they were patching up that right elbow. Remember when on the blitz by Charlie Clemens, when Charlie Clemens came from that backside and hit him, and he lost the ball. He fumbled the ball. He also lost half the skin on his right elbow. And he's had a right elbow problem. I mean, not a skin right elbow, but he has tendonitis in that right elbow.
3 wide receivers. They start straight ahead with Hurst. And don't get much.
The 92 in there is Martin Chase. He's taking Norman Hand's place. Norman Hand is on the IR, and he was kind of the big run stopper that played so well last year. And
Hand was,
and they had so much success with it. Norman Hand was injured this year, didn't play well, and now they have Martin Chase in there, 92, and he's kind of doing the same job that Hand does and doing it pretty well.
Yeah, they're kind of the same size.
Yeah, right. Glover is the quick tackle, and Chase is the hold the point guy.
This is Kevin Barlow. Right now for a game break, let's send you to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Pat and John, as you well know, the Packers still have a shot at the NFC Central title. Take a look at Brett Favre. Opening drive, hooking up with Bill Schrader, 26-yard strike. And it's the Packers on top early, 7-0 over the Giants. Back to Pat and John.
Back at the Superdome in New Orleans, no score here. The Packers coming on down the stretch.
And that's one score that the 49ers don't see because, again, for them to play at home, they have to win here today, and the Packers have to lose.
Here's Garcia back to throw it. Pass is incomplete, almost picked off. He threw it in a hurry. Fred Thomas almost got there.
That's why Thomas is so upset, because he did have it, and he knows he's gonna come up here in a rotation. You see, he's just standing there just playing zone, and the ball's thrown right out there. He didn't even bump the receiver. He's the corner. He's the right corner. He just let him go by, and he just stood there and watched Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia expected him to ride the receiver downfield.
Jason Baker back to punt. Not his best. Fielded by Wayne McGarity. First man missed, but he's down because he didn't miss completely. 7:05 left to play in the first quarter at the Superdome in New Orleans, and no score yet. Jim Haslett, the Saints head coach, sort of in a dilemma today as to how to approach this game, I'm sure.
Well, you know, he's had so many disappointments in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They were blown out a couple of weeks ago by Tampa Bay. They had Washington last week at the beginning of the game, and then they blew them out. Washington in the second half.
Ricky Williams barrels to the 45 of San Francisco.
This guy is a runner. And, you know, it's the old thing. When he gets his shoulders squared, he's back there in the I formation. And when he gets his shoulders squared, like right there, he is alone. I mean, he runs right through Derek Smith's tackle. I mean, there's no way that you're going to tackle him with an arm anyway. Emmitt Smith did a little of that last week.
Yes, he did.
49er defense.
Here's Ricky Williams again that lost the ball. The ball came loose. The 49ers are saying they have it, and that is true. They do.
Big play for Derek Smith there. The play before we just saw Ricky Smith ran right through this tackle. Then watch this one. Ricky Smith has the ball up there a little high. He gets it hit right out there. It looked like Engelberger that hit it out. And there's Derek Smith right there to pick it up.
It was Engelberger. You're correct. Ricky Williams lost it. We are back in New Orleans, and we'll be back here in about a month, John.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl, and that's as good as it gets.
Yes, sir.
And between now and then, we're going to have a heck of a lot of big and great games.
Garcia back to throw. Throwing deep. Got a man wide open. Owens into the end zone. 49er touchdown. He just barely got it off.
And that's the type of play that they were both talking about. Jeff Garcia said we have to get more aggressive. Terrell Owens is saying that I'm open all the time. Here's Terrell Owens, and we have to get the ball to me here. There's just no coverage there.
How can you play defense like that?
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, Fred Thomas was there, and he just ran right by him.
No move, there's nothing.
No, I mean, it's right here. It looks like he played, like he thought he was playing cover 2, and he was supposed to have a safety in there behind him. That was the definition of a corner of being on an island.
Garcia did a heck of a job to get rid of that ball and get it down there so Owens could make that catch.
That's what Garcia does, and that's what Owens does.
56-yard touchdown, 7-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. By Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be. By Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet. And by Siemens, Siemens Global Network of Innovation.
Mardi Gras coming up here in New Orleans. Today actually is the kickoff day. Those were Mardi Gras floats, but they won't be on display today. Today, there's a group that just hangs on the cable cars and rides through the French Quarter. And I think hanging on the cable cars is true.
I was talking to Goldie the other night, and that's what he does. And then he also said he thinks the 49ers are going to beat the Saints today, but the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl.
Hard to pick against him. Michael Lewis with a great return into 49er territory. 6:09 left to play in the first quarter. 7-0.
You know, going back to that touchdown of Terrell Owens, though, it looked like Fred Thomas expected help from his safety.
I think he did.
You're going to see, here's Bellamy right here. He goes there. See, so there's no help there. And Fred Thomas thought that he was going to have him in there deep, and he had no deep help, and Jeff Garcia found him.
Ricky Williams.
And this is how to make Terrell Owens happy. You throw him one of those deep patterns early in the game, let him get the lead, and now he's over there shaking hands with everyone. He was showing J.J. Stokes how he did it. You see that? I made a little out move, and I made an up move.
Just a little bit.
What really happened is I think that Jay Bellamy, the free safety, wasn't where he was supposed to be.
Willie Jackson.
The fans don't like this. They don't like the Saints being behind, and they don't like them throwing that little short stuff to Willie Jackson.
Aaron Brooks pass complete, but no yards.
You know, Willie Jackson is Terry Jackson's brother.
Yep.
They both went to the University of Florida. In fact, their father, Willie Jackson Sr., played at the University of Florida. In fact, when they played last year, both of them scored a touchdown. It was the first time the two brothers scored a touchdown in the same game since like 1930-something.
Right. Here's Brooks looking, bounces it short. Speaking of going to school in Florida, did Steve Spurrier departing shock you?
Yes, that did shock me because, you know, I mean, I always felt that he would be going to the NFL someplace. But I didn't know that it would be like that. I mean, the ball game and the next thing, you know, Steve Spurrier's out. And a lot of things shocked me. I mean, Denny Green leaving Minnesota shocked me.
Everybody's full of speculation. I know that. Sutherland signaled fair catch. And so the 49ers will take over with 4:41 left in the first. Leading 7-0.
There are 31 teams in this league, and only 12 get an opportunity to make it to the playoffs. So you special.
Next week, the NFL's second season kicks off as the playoffs start with an NFC wildcard game here on Fox. All begins at 11:30 Eastern with the undisputed champion of the pregame shows, Fox NFL Sunday, followed by an NFC wildcard showdown. All starts next Sunday right here on Fox at 11:30 Eastern Time. 49ers first and 10. Hurst.
You know, one of the things that the Saints have really been bothered by is the turnovers. They came into this game, and the last 3 games they had 10 turnovers, and then Ricky Williams gets one early in this game, so 11 turnovers. And when you talk to Jim Haslett, you say, what's really the difference? He said that, you know, turnovers and penalties. If you look at the first 12 games, their record was 7-5, 0-3 the last 3. Points per game, 23-17. Points game allowed, 21-41 in the last 3 games. Turnovers, 19 in the first 12 games and 10 in the last 3 games. And you couple that, he said, with the penalties and some of the other stupid things we've done, he said, we just haven't been in position to win games or deserve to win games.
Second down and 7. Garcia. Ty Streets was the intended target. Garcia thinks he shouldn't have missed him.
Yeah, let's look at Joe Johnson here. He's, you know, if they have a good pass rusher, a guy you have to stop from the outside is Joe Johnson, and they've done a pretty good job here. Here they get the one time he runs over Eric Johnson. Deese blocked him all right. Deese and Brown blocked him all right. The tight end Eric Johnson, as Steve Mariucci said a year ago, he was playing at Yale blocking Harvard guys. Now he's blocking guys like Joe Johnson.
Yeah, he was on the golf team. Here comes the blitz. Garcia reads it. J.J. Stokes.
And they did a nice job of picking up that blitz, too. Sammy Knight, the strong safety, came into blitz in the right side of the 49ers offense. And you see it here. Sammy Knight is right here. He's going to come here, and boom, they pick it up right there and give Jeff Garcia. Now, he knows when he sees that blitz, he knows that he's going to have man-to-man coverage on the outside, and he just gets the ball out there.
And that 49er offensive line does an excellent job on not missing assignments, not taking the wrong guy.
They're a group that plays very well together.
Hurst. Charlie Clemens knocked him out. NASCAR on Fox returns in February. They go by fast, don't they?
Yep, and they keep taking left turns, too, don't they?
Yeah. And sometimes you sing.
that was Darrell Waltrip's deal. I heard him once. I lost his wheel. He sang, "You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel." Every time I hear NASCAR, I think of that. You picked a fine time to leave me.
Garcia in trouble. Goes deep. He's got Owens, and Owens has got another 49er touchdown.
Owens has this new thing, the way he scores touchdowns now. He just drops the ball down, then he doesn't have the ball for the celebration. One of the things that they both talked about, both Jeff Garcia and Terrell Owens yesterday, is opening up their offense, being more aggressive in the passing game. That was one of the goals that they had coming into this game. And so far in the first quarter, I'll say that they're passing that goal.
60 yards from Garcia and Owens.
Again, I think you see here, Bellamy comes over this time, and then Owens comes from the slot and runs right by him. Bellamy was doubling the outside receiver, and Terrell Owens sneaked right in behind him.
I'll tell you what, you get into discussions about who's the best wide receiver. And he may not be the best, but he's close to there.
Well, and Jeff Garcia is very good, too. You see him waving for the ball here, Terrell Owens is, but Jeff Garcia sees him. Jeff Garcia was moving to the same side that Terrell Owens had gotten deep.
Owens has 2 catches, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Touchdowns of 56 and 60 yards. That's a pretty good start.
Yeah, what they're doing is they want to double Terrell Owens all the time, so they have the corner and the safety rolling up on the outside receiver, but then when they put Owens in the slot, then they didn't roll up on him. They rolled up on J.J. Stokes.
What would he be doing if they weren't doubling?
See, here's what you're going to see right here. You see they're going to roll up on the other side. You see they're rolling to this side over here, and then here comes Owens, and he gets right in behind him. You see, and the rolled up safety is going over to the other side, and then Owens comes across the field right in behind the rolled up corner and safety.
You know, you go back to the beginning of that, but for the mobility of Garcia, that would have never happened.
Well, that was the other point, and he happened to be moving to the same side that Terrell Owens was running the pattern to.
Lewis, this kickoff return comes to the 31. Don't forget, next weekend, the NFL's second season kicks off as the playoffs start with an NFC wildcard game here on Fox. All begins at 11:30 Eastern with the undisputed champion of pregame shows, Fox NFL Sunday. Followed by an NFC wildcard showdown. It all starts next Sunday right here on Fox at 11:30 Eastern.
Here we can see St. Louis has clinched the division, a first-round bye. And then Philadelphia is going to have a home game. They're going to play Tampa in Philadelphia in one of the wildcard games.
Yep. Good pursuit. Boo Williams made the catch.
Now, one of the things, I don't know if the 49ers want to know or not, but Green Bay has to lose, and they have to win for them to host a wild card game. Green Bay, last time I looked, was ahead of the Giants 14-0. In fact, the Giants just scored. The score's 14-7 now. I bet it for them. So that's one of the things. In fact, Steve Mariucci was talking about it last night. He said, for example, if Green Bay blows out the Giants like 30-0 at halftime, how do I play the second half?
What do I tell my team?
I say, well, it's not going to be 30-0.
Here's Brooks. This was planned from the beginning. On second down, a running play. Let's go to Los Angeles now for a game break at James Brown.
Hey, fellas, take a look at Ike Hilliard. Watch this haul into this Terry Collins touchdown pass. Great presence and awareness. Giants mentally ready. Jim Foster was a little concerned. Maybe no longer now. Let's take it back to Pat and John.
And we're back at the Superdome in New Orleans. 14-0 San Francisco.
As JB was saying about the Giants being mentally ready, I don't know that the Saints are.
Doesn't look like it. Pass complete to Willie Jackson. Yard shy of a first down. Well, it's very difficult in a situation like this to get yourself mentally ready. Coaching staff, players, whatever.
And it looks like they're going to, in fact, they got the first down here. But, you know, the thing, I was watching them practice the other day, and I was kind of thinking it's like the last day of school. You know, you know that this is your last game of the year, and tomorrow you're off for the off season. And, you know, in that last day of school, as you remember back, you don't learn a lot of equations that last day. And I kind of felt their practice on Friday was like the last day of school.
Kind of got the automobiles packed. Here's Ricky Williams. Around the corner, lowers the shoulder, picks up good yardage.
You know, we were talking to Ricky Williams the other day, and he was saying, you know, that what he tried to do is he tried to copy 3 running backs, and one was Bo Jackson with his power and speed, and that kind of looked like Bo Jackson there, and Marcus Allen for his smoothness, and then Walter Payton for his motor, going 100% all the time. And he said the toughest part is the motor.
That's 3 pretty good goals, I'd say. Brooks. Incomplete, no flag. No flag. It was intended for Joe Horn. That's the end of the first quarter with the score of the 49ers 14, the Saints nothing. Fox NFL Sunday from New Orleans will continue after these messages.
This is Steve Mariucci.
Hi, Ben.
He is head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And like many of his players, Coach Mariucci supports the United Way.
What's Japanese for a 17-syllable poem? Haiku.
Steve is smart.
What elementary particle?
Electron.
Very smart.
What boy band burst on the scene in 1999?
NSYNC.
In sync.
Tearing up my heart.
Nice work, Steve.
No?
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
I'll tell you, Jason Webster really got away with one here. Watch him on Joe Horn. He has his arm around his neck before the ball gets there. Watch this one. Watch his right arm come in there and go right around Joe Horn's neck and then grab his right shoulder. The official was right there and didn't call pass interference.
That's one of those let them play.
Now, let them play because the Saints are out of it and they're down 14-0. I don't really know about that. I don't think that should be part of officiating.
I don't think so either. 32. Brooks. Pass complete to Willie Jackson.
And watch what happened in that last play. Here's Ricky Williams. Here's Andre Carter there. Now watch as Andre Carter comes in. Ricky Williams is going to chip him. You see it helped the tackle there. Andre Carter just knocks his hat right off his head, spins him around. You got hair flying one way, hat flying the other way. That's football. But that's the block that gave Aaron Brooks the time to throw that ball to Joe Horn.
First and 10. Wilson, Robert Wilson makes the reception. Stopped by Holman.
We were talking to Aaron Brooks the other day, and last week he hurt his finger, and it's his index finger on his throwing hand, and it was all swollen. In fact, early in the week, he couldn't even grip the ball. He couldn't throw it. On Friday, he looked a little better. In fact, there you can see it. See here's the right finger there, and you can see that right knuckle is still swollen.
Here's Brooks back to throw it again. Intercepted by the 49ers. Zach Bronson came up with it.
Every time we do a 49er game, it seems like Zach Bronson comes up with a big play. And you watch him, he's just a free safety. He's going to be sitting back there in the middle, just waiting for this. And there it is, a high throw. And Bronson was just sitting back there waiting, and the ball came right to him.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Toyotathon 02. Password value. Get the feeling. By Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Siemens. Siemens, global network of innovation.
Pat Summerall, John Madden back at the Superdome in New Orleans. 49ers leading the Saints 14-0.
We're talking about how the 49ers are passing aggressively. Jeff Garcia has completed that 4 out of 5 for over 10 yards.
Garcia to work again. To Terry Jackson.
That's the thing, of course, the two big ones, the touchdowns to Terrell Owens, and I think that's good for a number of reasons. One, it gets you ahead. I mean, it takes a team like the Saints that are down anyway. You don't want them to get any life. You want to keep them down. The 49ers have done that. I think it's important to be aggressive, to get those 10-plus yard passes. And I also think it's important to get the ball to Terrell Owens early in the game and get him into the game, and not one of those things where you have to worry that he's not getting the ball.
This is Barlow, the ball carrier. Crosses the 20. Willie Whitehead brought him down.
That's the thing that the 49ers have going now with their running game. Garrison Hurst is in the Pro Bowl, and then they could bring in Kevin Barlow. And usually I like to have Hurst in there for the passing plays because he's going to be a better pass blocker and better blitz picker-upper guy. But Barlow's a heck of a runner, though.
He's a big guy. 235.
Yeah, I like Kevin Barlow.
I do, too. Garcia. Throws a hopper.
He throws a hopper because sometimes, I mean, he does so many unorthodox things, and sometimes he just stands too close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And that one, I mean, he got back. Then when he starts working up, he's darn near right at the line of scrimmage when he throws the ball.
When he steps up into the pocket, as you say in football terminology, it's not a step for him. It's like a leap into the pocket.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of hops. But, he completes so many passes doing that you can't say, hey, don't do it. That's not a good thing, because in many cases, it's a very good thing for Jeff Garcia.
Wayne McGarity lets it bounce. And the 49ers will down it at about the 38-yard line. 14-0. San Francisco over the Saints with 12-14 left in the first half.
Saints ball.
Watch this. Paul Smith is a gunner. Here's going to be the penalty. Newsome, number 31, is going to hit him after he's out of bounds. Right there. See, he's out of bounds. He hits him out of bounds, doesn't let him back in. So that's going to be a 15-yard penalty on that punt against the Saints. Now, you can knock that guy out of bounds, but when he's out of bounds, he can run out of bounds. The rule is he has to try and get back in, and the rule for the other side is they have to let him get back in.
They can't block him out of bounds, as happened right there. Jeff Triplett is the referee. So it's the Saints ball, first and 10 at their own 23-yard line.
And when Jeff Triplett's a referee, a lot of weird things happen.
Yes.
I've kind of noticed that.
People get run into and things happen.
Yeah, stuff happens in a Jeff Triplett game. Steve Mariucci, I know, is, we were talking about what happens if Green Bay is winning, so you know you're going to have to play Green Bay next week anyway, and you're going to have to play them in Green Bay. What do you do in the second half of the game? Jim Haslett is saying when you're already out of it, what do you do in that game? I think in either case, you just play. I told you weird things happen when Triplett's a referee. Watch this. I don't know what's going on now.
Speaking of weird things, you saw Kyle Turley's upper arm.
They were going to play.
A correction on the previous play for penalty enforcement. The foul occurred during the kick by the receiving team. Therefore, they have the option to accept that penalty at the end of the kick. So we penalize 15 yards from the end of the kick. New Orleans retains the ball, 1st and 10.
Is that what we said?
Yeah, that's what I thought he did anyway.
I did too. Brooks. Willie Jackson. No gain. Not a popular choice of play.
Well, you know, it's that one that the fans have booed every time. It's the 3rd or 4th time that they've thrown that none-yard pass out there to Willie Jackson, and the other one that they're booing is that option play that they've run. So they've had that option thing and that quick throw out there that hasn't worked yet. And every time they do it, it doesn't work. And every time they do it, the fans boo. And that's Frank McCarthy, the offensive coordinator, calling the play.
Brooks has caught. Joe Horn. And they'll move to 6.
Yeah, he doesn't look like his fingers bothering him on this one. But you have 3 wide receivers on this side. Joe Horn is the outside guy, and he just runs in and just settles down right on the numbers, right on the 40. Aaron Brooks sees him, and I'll tell you, he put a lot of mustard on that.
Yep.
I mean, Joe Horn just kind of got down like a catcher to the old backstop and stopped that one.
Ricky Williams. Ball's loose. The 49ers have it. Picked up by Jamie Winborn.
And the woes of the New Orleans Saints just keep on going. The old turnover thing. This is the second one for Ricky Williams. Again, the ball in his left hand. He just gets it hit and just knocked out right there.
And Jamie Winborn comes up with it.
See, he has it in his left hand. He got his helmet in his hand right on that ball. It was his left shoulder.
Yeah.
Looked like he hit it.
But he hit it perfectly. Hard to hold on to when you get hit it like that.
But George McCullough that hit him. Ned Plummer is out. Sean Holman is starting, so they have to use Holman and McCullough more today because they want to rest Ned Plummer.
From the 28. Hurst looked as if he had an opening, but it closed.
He's an amazing guy, isn't he? Garrison Hurst. I mean, you say it every time you do a 49er game. There was McCullough. They kind of knocked the ball out of Ricky Williams' hands. But, we were talking to Jim Haslett the other day. That's all he talked about was Garrison Hurst and how impressed he is with him and how he's come back and he's had those 5 surgeries. And he says he looks better than he did before. He said he looks more powerful than he was before he had those things.
What a happy guy he is. Close to the first down marker, knocked out of bounds by Sammy Knight.
We were saying about Hurst, that not only how good he is on the field, but he's one of those guys that's kind of the heart and soul and the guy in the locker room. In fact, Terrell Owens was saying that he always has a joke. And he said he tells the joke, and he said even if it's a bad joke, he said if no one laughs, he laughs at his own joke so hard
that you have to laugh
at him laughing at his own jokes. He said so either way, anytime you see Garrison Hurst, the next thing you're doing is laughing.
That's a pretty good guy to have around. Here he is again.
Garrison Hurst, ball carrier. Chase on the tackle.
Now I know what Steve Mariucci's thinking here, that, you know, he's one of those coaches that wants balance. You know, he wants a balance between run and pass, between short pass and deep pass, and all those kinds of things. But he knows right now it's in the second quarter, but he knows he has this game under control. So what he wants to do is get it over as quickly as possible. And he'd like to get this score in here right now, and then just run the clock as quickly as you can.
That means run the ball. Here's Garcia back to throw it, however. The pass is caught by J.J. Stokes down at about the 5-yard line.
It's funny, with all this sprinkling and stuff, you see how J.J. Stokes turned around to see who was coming to hit him. You know, that when a guy used to do that, you always used to say he can't run. If he gets in front of someone and then looks back, that means he can't run. But now I think it's because of stripping.
Yeah.
I think that, you know that J.J. Stokes now knows that there's someone behind him, and he has to protect the ball from being stripped. You see, he gets by there. Now look at him look right there. In fact, he not only looked, but he tried to hit great arm.
And he shifted the ball to his other arm. First and goal at the 6. Garcia. Touchdown.
Did you see
Terry Jackson?
Did you see what Jeff Garcia did? That's amazing. That's like the old Frankie Albert days. Jeff Garcia faked a jump pass to the left.
Yeah.
He's gonna get up and fake a jump. What, right there? See the jump pass? Fake to the left. Then he's going to come back, roll out to the right, and throw the touchdown pass here.
Terry Jackson gets it in.
Yeah, Brett Favre could do that, and Jeff Garcia can do that.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of other quarterbacks in this league that would even try and do that. The old fake jump pass, well, right.
It sort of works out that way. And the extra point works out well as well. 21-0. The 49ers control of things in New Orleans. Fox tonight. Don't miss new episodes of Futurama, King of the Hill, The Simpsons, Malcolm and the X-Files. It's all new, and it all starts at 6 Central tonight on Fox. And the Saints at the moment can't wait for tonight to come.
Well, and the 49ers really are getting ready for the playoffs, and they look like they corrected some of the things that they've had go wrong in the last few weeks.
Lewis finally picked up the kickoff. 21-0, 8:10 left in the first half. And the 49ers, 2 touchdown passes by Garcia to Owens and another to Jackson. So Jeff seems like he's back on track.
There's Terry Jackson there giving the wave, and Steve Mariucci said that Terry Jackson is one of his favorite players. He said he's a guy that you can bring in and play him at tailback, which they've done. You can play him at fullback, which they're doing today. And he's a heck of a special teams player.
As a tweener, he said.
He's a tweener. He's a half a tailback and a half a fullback, but he can play either one of those positions.
49ers show the blitz. Brooks saw it coming, got rid of it. Incomplete to Boo Williams.
Aaron Brooks is 9 out of 12 for only 44 yards. And he has the 1 interception. You see here, he feels that pressure coming right now. It was Zach Bronson. And they were going to let Bronson or the free safety come. And then that's what they call a hot read, where they leave one for the quarterback. And he has to get rid of it as quickly as Aaron Brooks did that time.
2nd and 10. Brooks out of the spread this time. Screen pass. Nothing there. Ricky Williams hit by Jason Webster.
Jason Webster is out there in his zone. He's just playing that short zone. He's just sitting right out here waiting. And he's reading the quarterback and Ricky Williams. And as you said, everything arrives about the same time. Jason Webster, the ball, and Ricky Williams.
Reminded myself of Ricky Jackson, who was one of the toughest guys ever to play. Played for both these teams.
And played well for both these teams. Last time he was with the 49ers, they were in the Super Bowl.
Brooks to Horn. It's good throw. Mariucci doesn't think he was in bounds.
Well, he's trying to get a spot. I think Mariucci's trying to get a spot where it's not a first down. Joe Horn's trying to get a spot where it was a first down. You see, it was going to be right here. And it looks like it's going to be right on that marker, isn't it?
Pretty close.
Jeff Triplett said they got the spot over there. That's not the official chains side. See, the chains are on the other side. Did he have both feet in?
I don't think so.
The thing, they're looking for the spot, but I don't know that he had both feet in.
I don't think he did. That much shy.
So they did get the spot. And obviously he did have both feet in. Now we have to see here, he has control of the ball. 1, 2, I guess both feet were down when he caught the ball. Before he went out of bounds. That wasn't one of those where he was going out of bounds. Steve Mariucci won't challenge that. I would imagine the Saints will go for this. And all they need is a chain. They just need one chain link.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field of the forward progress spot.
New Orleans challenge.
Well, what Jim Haslett was saying, before I go for it on 4th down, which I'll probably do, I want to challenge the spot. And again, it's where the ball is when the feet go out. So now he has the ball right there. So if he has control of the ball, you see it there, and it looks like it's right at the spot. I mean, that's very, very close. I mean, it's either at or a chain length on either side. If you put it right there, and if you come right off to that point, then that was right on the spot.
I don't know how you could be inconclusive about that.
Well, something strange is going to happen here again, but I think it's one of those things where you're talking about chain length, and now they called it short, so this has to be indisputable that he was beyond that first down marker. Look at Triplett here. He even has a stance.
Partial hunker.
Gets his knees back.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty good hunker?
Well, that's not a pretty good hunker.
No, he didn't bend his knees that much either.
His legs spread.
No, he spread his legs and bent at his waist, and that's what they tell you. Now he's chained there. Yeah, that's a lot better stance. That'll get that stuff quickly to the brain. Steve Mariucci, you know, he challenged one last week and got it. Jim Haslett doesn't have a real good record of challenges. I would say that they'll probably leave it where it is.
And they'll go for it.
And they'll go for it on 4th down. That would be my guess. Because, you know, that shot that we had, it looked like the ball was right there at the marker. This is the original line record, which would be the play live. You see him. Well, he was in front of it there. If you look
After reviewing the play, the receiver got possession of the ball and completed the catch. However, he was not contacted and went out of bounds on his own at the 36-yard line at about the spot where the ball was placed down. There is not indisputable visual evidence with which to overturn the spot on the field of forward progress. So therefore, the ruling on the field will stand. It is short. New Orleans is charged a timeout.
What he's saying is that he did catch the ball in front of the first down marker, wasn't touched, and ran out of bounds. And when he ran out of bounds, he was that chain length short. So this is Triplett's interpretation. When he catches the ball, he was there. He wasn't touched. Now when he goes out of bounds, again, it's not where the foot goes out. It's where the ball is when the foot goes out, that he was a chain length in front.
And Jeff Triplett's got to be a member of AFTRA after that speech.
Yeah, Jim Haslett has something on his card, you know, that he calls the plays with. And on top of it, it says, don't yell at officials.
That's becoming increasingly difficult.
Yeah, and he said every time that something comes up, he just looks at that like he is right there. Don't yell at officials. But anyway, it's fourth and a chain link, so he's going to go for the chain link like we thought. I think it's just quarterback sneak. Yes. They'll load it up in the middle.
Quarterback sneak. And Brooks got the first down. So he lost a timeout and got the first down.
Well, he had 2 shots at the first down. I mean, one, he'd either get it through the challenge, or Aaron Brooks would just quarterback sneak it. You see, Aaron Brooks, he's a real competitor, and he's a guy that loves to play, and he loves football, and he gets ready to play and all those things. And he got caught once when they were losing a couple weeks ago, smiling, and they made a big thing about that they were losing. He was smiling. But Aaron Brooks is just a guy that smiles all the time. I mean, he picked up a first down there and smiles. He wants to have fun playing the game.
And if you don't have fun, you shouldn't be playing. Going deep. Picked off by Zach Bronson again.
The official didn't know what to do.
No.
He couldn't get his whistle in his mouth. Aaron Brooks, when he throws a deep pattern, he throws it higher than anyone that I've ever seen. Here's Zach Bronson. He's number 31. He's a free safety. You see him on the hash mark. Then he makes the break on the up. And he gets up there and darn near has to wait for that ball to intercept it.
That's about as well as it can be done. 49ers lead 21-0. They have the ball as a result of an interception by Zach Bronson. That's Kevin Barlow.
See number 77 there, Pat. That's Matt Willig. He's in there at left guard now. Ray Brown had a bad left elbow, and he was kind of probable for this game. And I think this is one of the first changes that Steve Mariucci is making today, that the guys you want to get out of the game are the guys that are banged up. Ray Brown just made the Pro Bowl this week for the first time, but he is banged up with the left elbow. This is Steve Mariucci's first chance to make the substitution, and the first one is Matt Willig for Ray Brown.
Finds a little room. That's a sign of it's been a long year. We're not going anywhere.
Well, and he's a young guy, too. Yeah. I mean, his first 12 games, he had 9 interceptions.
With a lot of ability.
The last 4, he's had 11. And you remember, this is his first full year as a starter.
Yep.
Last year, we did his first game when he had his first start. That was against the Rams in St. Louis, and they beat him.
3rd and short.
And I think that's one of the big frustrations of this New Orleans team, Pat, is the fact that you can't forget that they won this division last year.
And that they can play the Rams tough.
Yeah, and they can play the 49ers tough. I mean, here, this is, they all get in their gaps, and that's the new word they call now is fit. That your defense, you have to have a fit. And that New Orleans Saints defense on that time was a perfect fit. They had every gap along the line taken.
Jason Baker. Wayne McGarity. Don't forget, next week the NFL's second season kicks off as the playoffs start with an NFC wild card game here on Fox. All begins 11:30 Eastern with the undisputed champion of the pregame shows, Fox NFL Sunday, followed by an NFC wild card showdown. It all starts next Sunday right here on Fox at 11:30 Eastern. And right now, it'll be Tampa Bay at Philadelphia or San Francisco, Green Bay.
That's the way it would stand now. It'd be San Francisco at Green Bay.
Right.
Oh, just a week ago, until the 49ers lost to Dallas, it would have been Green Bay at San Francisco. And that was a big, big loss to Dallas.
It was.
But I think they'd have a tough time with Green Bay in Green Bay. I think Green Bay would have a tough time with them
first charge
in
team timeout. It will be.
I remember a playoff game we had where we had the Bears against the 49ers at Soldier Field, and it was cold, bitter cold. Nobody gave the 49ers a chance because the Bears were used to it. The 49ers are not a cold weather team, and they just humiliated the Bears. You remember that?
Yeah, well, that's a great thing about the NFL is you can think this is going to happen or that's going to happen or this team's going to win or that team's going to win, but they still have to play the game. I mean, you never know, and no one knows. And these guys that say, well, this is going to happen, this is a cinch, this is a lock, all those words, they're all full of baloney.
There are no locks, that's for sure. First and 10. Saints have the ball, trailing 21-0. To Willie Jackson. Out of bounds at the 40. First down, Saints.
One of the things that the Saints feel they need is another wide receiver to go with Joe Horn and Willie Jackson. And Willie Jackson, every time we see him, he catches a whole bunch of passes. I mean, Zach Bronson always makes interceptions. Willie Jackson always catches a lot of passes.
And they always say we got to find somebody to go with the Joe Horn. Willie Jackson can't do the job and all that sort of stuff, and he always does in big games. Brooks. Wilson.
Passing complete to Wilson.
And that's the thing, that they can get some things going.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at this Saints offense, and they have Ricky Williams, and they have Deuce McAllister that can also run, #1 draft choice. They have Joe Horn outside. Willie Jackson always catches a lot of balls. Aaron Brooks can do it, but lately they just can't keep it together. I mean, if something happens, a penalty will happen, an interception will happen, a fumble will happen, just like today. Brooks.
Now that's a good throw. Not very far, but Jackson makes the catch.
Well, it was enough for the first down. I mean, we saw the yellow line there, and he got just beyond the yellow line, and Aaron Brooks zips it into him. You see, he comes down there just enough for a first down. And again, it's in a hole of his own, so you get between the safety and the linebacker, and you just sit right down there, and the timing was perfect.
First and 10, Saints. Lopsided edge to the 49ers and total yardage. Here's Brooks. Outside, Ricky Williams. Ducks his head, picks up a yard. Holman made the stop.
Holman is a rookie, and Ricky Williams sees him out there, and he gets square, and he tried to run over him. And Rashad Holman did exactly what he had to do. When you get a guy like that, you go as low as you can on him.
John Engelberger is down for the 49ers.
Engelberger, he has that bad heel.
Yeah.
In fact, he wasn't even going to play a couple of weeks ago, and Cheeky O'Keefer got hurt, and then he had to play. And he played last week, and he still has the bad heel. You can see it there, taking the inside on the pass rush. Just right there. Oh, he just gets that right leg rolled up on.
Well, that, of course, is the kind of thing that you hope to avoid.
That happens so often. Engelberger is the left end. David Terrell was the left tackle on the other side. And when you're coming as a pass rusher, you're coming this way, and the offside tackle's coming the other way. And I think that collision, whether it be a knee, an ankle, a heel, or whatever, happens a heck of a lot. What I'm talking about is a collision between this left tackle and this end on this side. See, as this tackle's going back and this end is coming in, there's always a point right there. We just lost it, but there's always a point that they do come together, and is usually a whiplash. We got a hold of Engelberger there, holding him up. But again, you see Engelberger coming to the inside, Terrell coming to the outside, and right there is a point where they'll come together. Right about the quarterback, the left tackle and the end from the other side.
So it's 2nd and 9. 49ers show up blitz, and here they come. Here they come again, and Brooks gets rid of it. Out of the pocket, he just threw it away.
Passing by number 80, Robin Wilson.
2 minutes left in the first half. 21-0 San Francisco.
5, NFL Sunday is brought to you by Brand Jordan.
A minute 56 left in the first half. 21-0 49ers over the Saints at the Superdome in New Orleans.
John Engelberger going off. He was wearing some kind of special shoe yesterday to help that heel. They say that this injury is an ankle injury, right ankle injury. Gave him some crutches. He walked to that cart with crutches and hopped on the back. He doesn't look awfully concerned.
No, he doesn't.
Does he?
He really doesn't.
I like the way they carried him off the field.
Brooks sacked by Andre Carter. He got inside the offensive tackle.
Andre Carter's having a pretty good day today. And we just looked at, he's playing right here. And he's playing against Terrell, you see, and he takes that inside, like you said, Pat, and then they were going to help with the back. The left tackle misses him, the back misses him, and the next thing, or he makes him miss him, and the next thing he gets is Aaron Brooks. Andre Carter was a rookie #1 draft choice out of Cal who kind of got off to a pretty good start. Then he had a little slow period in there, but towards the end of the season, he seems to be coming on.
He really does. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. That's coming up at the half. Emmitt Smith going for 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Not quite there yet. Against Detroit. He's 11 yards away. Nobody has ever done that.
You know, and we had the chance to watch him last week in the coach's film against the 49ers, and to me he looks like the old Emmitt. I mean, you know, part of it is a big part of it is Emmitt Smith, and another part of it is that offensive line. And Larry Allen really had his way with Dana Stubblefield and was opening some big holes. And you know, you keep saying, well, Emmitt Smith, you know, he'll be worn down, he'll be beaten up, he won't have, you know, the juice he used to have. When I watched the tape yesterday, I said, hey, Emmitt still has juice in him.
And when you want a definition of the word warrior, that's Emmitt Smith. That's Garrison Hurst.
He gains 2.
You look at the sack leaders coming into this game. The Saints, Pittsburgh, and Green Bay were tied. Green Bay doesn't have any yet. Pittsburgh and the Saints each have 1.
Garcia tucks it under.
Garcia brought down.
Last team to lead the league in sacks in back-to-back seasons was the Dallas Cowboys in 1968 and 69. The Saints led last year, so should they repeat?
Yeah, and they don't get a lot of sacks against the 49ers, though. Jeff Garcia is one of those guys that, you know, can get away from trouble. You can let one go free. I think last time they had 1 sack against him, so they're playing a team that doesn't give up a lot of sacks and a quarterback that is almost unsackable.
Garcia trying for a screen pass. Hits Hurst, bounce off his hip.
Garcia just ran right off the field. Is that a word, unsackable? I mean, that would be a definition of Jeff Garcia.
It certainly is.
How about after the Philadelphia game, his mother was down there in the sideline. He said, I have no idea how she got down there, but she was down there on the side in San Francisco on that Saturday game we did. She was down there in the sidelines yelling, he's a stud! He's a stud! He's a stud! And he said, I have no idea how my mom got down there.
They go. His parents go to almost every game. Flag on the play. Wayne McGarity out of bounds.
Well, his parents go to, you know, a lot of the home games and then some of the road games, and you know, his dad was a coach for all those years.
Yeah.
In fact, his grandfather played in the East-West game. Jeff Garcia played in the East-West game. His grandfather was old Red Elder.
He's from Gilroy, California, which is billed as the garlic capital of.
Bill and is. The triplet's going to get this straightened out.
You think so?
I swear, there's no game like a triplet game.
Running into the kicker, number 42. Defense. The kicker was not allowed to come down without stepping on the player and falling. It's a 5-yard penalty. The result of the penalty is first down.
You got that straight?
Yeah, there's the 5-yard and 15. You see that he's saying that the guy was underneath him and he couldn't come down, but he didn't rough him.
Well, it seemed to me...
I don't know that you have to give the guy a landing area. I never heard that one.
It's sort of inevitable he's going to come down.
Yeah, but you can't be underneath him, I guess, and according to him, you have to give the punter a landing area after he jumped.
I don't think that was the case when I played.
Well, I know they have the 5 and the 15. If you really rough them, that's a 15. If not, it's a 5.
Coming up, the Visa halftime show. J.B. Terry, Howie, Chris, scores and highlights. And the Fox Sports sticker with up to the second stat. That's the end of the first half with the score. 49ers 21, Saints nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue from New Orleans after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Fox. The Visa Halftime Report is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
As we welcome you to the Visa halftime full house here in Los Angeles, it looks like the Saints might be mailing it in. 4 turnovers in the first half.
Well, you don't like Garcia, JB, but I happen to like him a lot. Boys, he played well in this football game. He looks back, 56-yard to Terrell Owens. Touchdown. Here we go, 49ers. Off and running 7-0. Sorry about that. I'm just kidding, folks. Now Garcia out of the pocket. What he learned in Canada. What did he learn, Chris? How to move, how to scramble, how to throw on the run. 60-yard touchdown. 16th touchdown on the year after career high for Terrell Owens. 21-0. 49ers over the Saints. All right, Strahan on the right, Favre on the left. Look, things aren't going good. Kind of help me out, will you, babe? That's what they were talking about. Sucker play. Amon Green up the inside. Bounces the outside. 25-yard touchdown. Packers trying to get it done, leading 14-0. Then, Terry Collins, Hilliard, 8-yard touchdown on a post. There's your touchdown. Went up for review, came back, said he caught it. His toes were in. Ballet lessons paid off in the offseason. 14-10, Pack over the Giants.
And the Bears looking to clinch the NFC Central title with a win over Jacksonville. Right now on top at the half, 13-0. Why'd you stroke me that time?
Tony Banks auditioning as Chris and Howie say for next year as quarterback. We'll see. Standing in the pocket, looking good. Good pass protection. A bad read. Adrian Wilson steps in front. 61 yards later, interception return for a touchdown by the Cardinals. They're up 7-0. Now, Thomas Jones in the second quarter, 4-yard touchdown run. Still in all, Cardinals behind Cardinals on top, 17-6 actual pass.
All right, Howie, mark it down. Emmitt Smith, 11 yards shy of his NFL record, 11th consecutive 1,000-yard season. Pittsburgh looking for its first 13-win season.
Little love there.
1978, that's T-Squad. All 9 at 14. Chris picked the Bengals today.
There you go.
First time all season long. Colts looking to save Jim Irsay's job on top by 12 as we take a look at the Patriots with Tom Brady at the helm. 10-3 over the Panthers as we come in. What kind of look is that?
You know what that is. That's why I love you, JB.
New Orleans. Is New Orleans mailing it in, having given up an average of 40 points in the last 3 losses?
You know, it's just unbelievable what's happened to this defense this season. This is one of the best defenses in all of football a season ago, and now over the last 3 weeks, they've just been awful. Tom Benson clearly is not happy with what's been happening with this organization, and you just have to wonder what he's up there thinking in that owner's box right now.
Well, Terrell Owens, it seems like every time that Terrell Owens criticizes the coaching staff from San Francisco publicly, he comes back with a big game. They throw the ball to him. His big complaint last week, obviously, not being thrown to him, particularly in the first half. 2 receptions thrown to 3 times, 112 yards. Does anyone complain in the locker room anymore? Does it always go public?
That's the way it looks. Rich Gannon took it public. Testaverde took it public.
Help me out. Correct me. What did I misstate?
You said save Jim Irsay's job.
And say?
Jim Mora.
That's teamwork, folks.
That's right. That's why we're together. That's why we pointed out nationally.
Visa is proud to celebrate the fans this season. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.